Hello and welcome to Spartan Sports Report. I'm Justin Allegri. San Jose State football 1-2 following the loss on the road to the University of Texas. We'll recap that game with San Jose State head coach Brennan, and we'll also preview the upcoming road trip to Salt Lake City to take on the Utes as well with Coach Brennan. But first, let's head back to Austin for some highlights. Spartans and Longhorns facing off for the first time ever in both programs' histories, and San Jose State coaching staff wearing the Houston Strong t-shirts in support of the Houston area. The Spartans would try to start off strong with the run game, but it would just never gain any traction in the first quarter, and they were forced to punt after their first possession. And on that punt near the 10-yard line, the kick was dropped by Foreman. Fortunately for him, though, he dives right back on top of it to save the possession for the Longhorns. The Longhorns would then go to work on offense. They had their freshman quarterback in for them after their sophomore was unavailable to them, but one player that was very, very good for the Spartans early on was Maurice McKnight, cutting down the run game right there as you see it. But they kept on pushing, and Gerard Hurd would come in as another quarterback option. He would run in the first score of the game, making it 7-0 Texas. A few drives later, it was a big play in this game. It was a 3rd and a long rollout. Andre Sacheret almost gets the interception, but it made it 3rd and 1. That led to another touchdown. Spartans then, down 14-0 in the red zone, decide to go for it on 4th and short, but they are stuffed. Not a very generous spot either. The Spartans would turn it over on downs. The very next drive, a long pass down the sideline, just barely keeping his feet in bounds on the far sideline and making the big catch. Texas in business again, and just with 20 seconds remaining in the first half, Hurd again punches it in to make it 21-0. Texas heading into the locker room at halftime. Still within reach for San Jose State, but in the second half, some big plays. Montel Aaron would throw the pick, intercepted on the far sideline, and then bringing it all the way back. 45 yards for the touchdown return. Holton Hill, his second game with a pick six. And just like that, it was 35-0 in the third quarter. Texas all over San Jose State. They would add on more even in the fourth quarter. Amonte Foreman, the man that dropped the punt earlier in the game. This is technically a pass forward as they kind of toss it to him, and he runs it into the end zone off the right side for the score, 49-0. And then to add on just one more later on in the fourth quarter, Toniel Carter, who came on as the third running back option for the Longhorns in this game, he would weave his way into the end zone. And that would be it for the Spartans on the road. 56-0, San Jose State falls to the University of Texas. The Spartans now 1-2 on the year. Texas, meanwhile, they get their first win after their home loss in the opener against Maryland. They're now 1-1. Spartans had Montel Aaron starting for them for the first time. He was 12 of 23, did throw the pick. That was turned into a touchdown. 104 yards in the air for Aaron. DeJohn Packer, one of several running back options for the Spartans in this game. 5 carries, 22 yards for him. The Spartans only had 42 rushing yards in this game overall. Josh Oliver led San Jose State in receptions with 3 of them for 21 yards. Sam Ehlinger, he was the big deal for the Texas Longhorns. The freshman in his first start, 222 yards in the air and a touchdown. Also had 48 yards on the ground for Texas. And then Chris Warren, the big back, 16 carries for 116 and 2 scores. Spartans shut out on the road against Texas. Last week on Spartan Sports Report, we debuted a new segment, Mic'd Up. This week, we'll double up on that segment with Coach Cummings and Coach Harris of the San Jose State football team.
I love your effort and enthusiasm. Love it. Fantastic day. Fantastic day. Always my day. Let's go. Have fun with it. Get your minds right. Wake it up. Let's roll. Good, Bailey. Coming flat through there, Jeremy. Good, Jeremy. Good eye. B mid. The eyes back to it. Good. Reduce. Good finish. Good work. 10 push-ups. You guys survived. We got a couple close, but not. There it is. Break it. Good. Turn the field. Go. Good. Nice. Live. Live. This is live. 720 roll. Let's hit it. Let's hit it. 2 rolls. Hop up off the ground. Go. Focus up and do it right.
Who won practice today?
He said, don't run to the shield.
Watch it. Lord. You don't want to play no DB. That's what I was say. That thing smooth, boy. You look like Shaq right now. You can't take no days off. You can't take no days off. You know how I live. Goon life. Don't play me. Don't play me. Ooh.
Come on, man.
Ooh. Money. Let's get it. D7, D7. Hey, do this everything right. It's the little things. Let's go. Get ready. See the ball kick. Good, Dre. Way to get out your break and see it quick. Yeah! It's turn up time. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Misso, this is full cover. 2's on deck. He caught one! He caught one! Ah! Hey! Here we go, family on 3, family on me. 1, 2, 3, family.
We'll step aside here on Spartan's Sports Report. More to come after this.
Honoring all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. Every division, every sport, the Learfield Directors Cup. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook, find us online and on Twitter. The Learfield Directors Cup.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about some of the new facilities here on South Campus, one of them being the tennis facility, and the head coach will walk us through it.
Well, welcome to the new San Jose State Outdoor Tennis Complex. I'm currently standing on court 6, closest to the road here, and we're excited that this project will be completed in a couple months. Hopefully we'll be out here hitting the first week of November out here back home at San Jose State. So final plans include 6 courts. They include lighting, some general seating on bleachers, and I think what's really good about this project compared to our existing courts we had a couple years ago is we will have lights that will enable us to play some night matches, and will also enable the students of San Jose State to play some nice competitive student leagues here after hours when the tennis team is done playing tennis.
Part of the project goals are to help the student population by having courts available for classes and recreational play.
We're going to have gym classes, kinesiology classes back here at the court starting in spring of 2018, and I want everybody and anybody to come down here and play when the team is not practicing. The more people we have down here, the more fans we'll have here, and it will just help the university and help the team also.
Despite not having home courts last season, the Spartans enjoyed one of their most successful years in program history, winning the Mountain West title and advancing to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time ever.
You know, it's going to be great being back home. I think the biggest thing that we have and that we lose when we play off campus for practice and matches is time. You know, time to get there, time to get back. So it's going to be great just taking the bus from main campus down the south, and also access to the general public and access to fans. A lot easier to come and find where the team's playing. So really looking forward to that.
And while the Spartans have been able to continue recruiting, having a new facility will aid in the process.
Oh, it's a big plus for us. Not only these outdoor courts, but also hopefully down the road in a couple of years, some indoor courts, 6 covered courts actually, just across the road here from the outdoor 6. But it's just good finally having a new home facility. Well, a big thank goes out to Rich and Cindy Thawley, and then also their son-in-law Trevor, who I've been working with every day for the past probably 4 months, talking on the phone. He's helping out and assisting as a project manager, along with obviously the support from Cindy and Rich. But it's been an eye-opening experience for me, kind of being the assistant and gathering a lot of information and throwing in opinions on how this facility should come to fruition. And we're almost there, but yes, a big thank you to the Thawley family, and again, my personal thank you to Trevor also.
We'll step aside here on Spartan's Sports Report. More to come after this.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Welcome back here on Spartan's Sports Report. We're now joined by San Jose State head coach Brennan. And Coach, well, after a tough loss like on the road at Texas, so what is the message to the team moving forward, just to kind of keep spirits high, moving into a challenging opponent?
The only thing you can do after a game like that is get back to work. That's the only way you can start to feel better and heal as a football team. So we went through the film, yesterday and today with the kids, and just tried to show them, like, hey, we're not that far off.
Right.
And I know the score looks really bad, but when you look at where that game was at in the second quarter, it's a football game, and obviously that's before the dam broke. But trying to get them to see the good that happened in that game, and then also correct the bad. Obviously, we messed up plenty of plays in that game, missed opportunities to create turnovers or to make big plays offensively. So there's so many things through a course of a football game. And when it gets away from your team like that, how do you get over it? And so the biggest thing was today, just let's go to work. Let's get to practice. Yeah. We had a great practice. The energy was great. The guys were into it. And that was what I was really trying to get done.
When I would think an open conversation about something like that is how you fix little problems here and there, because it was just mere inches at times, it seemed like, in that second quarter.
No question. And, it's a 7-0 game. And then all of a sudden, we miss a few of those opportunities, and all of a sudden it's 14, but it's still manageable. Yeah. And then we miss a deep ball throw on the sideline that was right there for the taking, and for us to make a play on, and we don't get it. And so then now, now you're behind the chains again. And so when you're playing a team like Texas in that kind of environment, you don't have a large margin for error. You got to make plays. You got to tackle. You got to block. Yeah. And so some of those fundamental breakdowns really ended up costing us, and then it snowballed, and it was just, it was really frustrating for those kids. So back to work, and we're getting ready for Utah. Yeah,
well, and that's where that strength we were talking about last week comes in when you play a team like Texas, obviously, and maybe it helps going into Utah. But talk about some of the young players and how they handled the atmosphere. I know that was something we talked about, and it seemed like, for the most part, guys like Montel Aaron, the younger players were handling that atmosphere very well.
No, I thought they did a good job. This week will be an even more unique challenge, just because of, I've played at Utah several times, and they do an incredible job with their game day. It is an incredible atmosphere, the noise, the crowd, the intensity, the physicality Utah plays with. So this will be a totally different challenge than Texas even. It's an 8 o'clock kick, you know, so all the fans will be fired up and ready to go. So it'll be a great challenge for those guys. I was proud of, you know, Montel. I thought handled, you know, the game well and you know, just seemed to be, you know, cool in some of those intense moments. And then some other kids made some good plays, you know, some guys running around, special teams, young players. So there's a lot of good stuff to point to. And like I said, you know, you got to fix the bad stuff, but hoping that we can eliminate some of those mistakes and get moving forward towards Utah and playing well Saturday night.
Maybe you mentioned some of the younger players, and one of the positives from that game, I thought Tyler Nevins. You know, seeing him for the first time, obviously, on such a grand stage, and he had some good plays. He looks like a strong player for the Spartans.
No, I think Tyler's going to be a good player here, and he's a great kid. And you know, I think when freshmen come in, you kind of put them into two different categories. You know, they either have a chance as a freshman or they have to redshirt. And Tyler's one of those guys that, you know, he was right in the fold all through fall camp and did a lot of good stuff. And finally, we with the, you know, the amount of hits our backs are taking and those kind of things, we're like, you know, he needs to play, and he's ready to play. Not all freshmen are ready to play.
Right.
And so those are the decisions you make as a coaching staff as you go through practice, try and figure out who can handle this. You know, who can handle not just the volume of offense and the scheme, but kind of the intensity and the physicality of the game, and Tyler can do that.
You know, another thing that kind of slowed the offense down, I felt like, were those false start penalties. The penalties seemed to rack up early for the Spartans. Is that a byproduct of the quick pace, you think? And what do you talk about the team to remedy that?
You know, one of them, you know, I'm not sure was right. As I look at it, it was, you know, it was silly. The other one was just anxiousness. You know, I think one of the receivers thought he was going to get a ball, so he's like, got out.
Yeah, got to get going.
Yeah. And so, but, you know, I had an old coach that taught me when I was young that it's better to have died at birth than jump offside as a receiver, because you're looking at the ball, you know, so there's never an excuse for a receiver to jump offside. And so hopefully we've got that fixed.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
All right, we'll take a quick break here with Coach Brennan. Talk Utah when we come back.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report. We continue to talk with San Jose State head coach Brennan. And Coach, we talked about this preseason. This is the tough back-to-back that the Spartans face, Texas and then Utah. This is another tough opponent for San Jose State. You briefly mentioned the atmosphere here in Salt Lake when the Spartans will go this weekend. Talk about this opponent and how challenging they are.
Well, I think, you know, probably for the last 8 years or 9 of the last 10 years, I've coached in games against Utah teams.
Yeah.
And Kyle Whittingham is an outstanding football coach, and they do an incredible job of getting those kids coached up and ready to play. They play an incredibly physical brand of football. You know, some of those games that, you know, my time at Oregon State were just insane battles against those teams from Utah. So, you know, for us, it's the challenge of the physicality that Utah brings, you know, with a really aggressive defensive front, you know, big people in the secondary, and then also, you know, kind of a hardcore run game that we need to be ready to battle. So, and then on top of that, year in and year out, in my opinion, they're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country in the special teams and kicking games. So it's an incredible challenge for our team going on the road, you know, after obviously a tough, you know, kind of, you know, demoralizing loss in Texas. And so, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the best thing we can do is get back to work and just get back to practicing and trying to get better as fast as we can.
I think when you look at this program too, it's the sign of what a sustained success football program can do to a university. This is a team that was in the WAC, they're in the Mountain West, now they're in the Pac-12, and they're excelling in the Pac-12.
No question. They've done as good of a job of kind of growing their program and growing their brand as anybody in the country has. 15 years ago, you knew who they were, and they were a good football program. But now they're a football program that is, in the upper echelon of the Pac-12. They're going to good bowl games every year. And, and obviously when you watch them play, you know why, because of how they play and the physicality they bring to football.
Well, Troy Williams was their starter last year as a junior. It seemed like he was going to be the guy this year. And you talked about Coach Willingham and his aggressiveness as a head coach and his ability as a head coach. He goes with the sophomore quarterback to start off the season, kind of this dual threat guy. Talk us through what makes him so talented.
This kid is a freak now. He is something. Similar to maybe Quentin Flowers, the kid we played against South Florida. I think this kid he's a little bit bigger, and he's maybe got a bigger arm. He can make more throws, I think, than Quentin can. Although Quentin's plenty brilliant, but it's just the way it is, right? If you're playing Division I football, if you're coaching Division I football, every week you're going to play against a good player at that position. You're going to play against someone really good. Even last week, Texas ends up starting their true freshman, and he was brilliant. He was incredibly efficient. He was, he got out of trouble well. He threw the ball well when he had to. So this is a whole new challenge. This guy is an incredibly dynamic runner with a big arm. So we got to be ready for, to try and keep him corralled. And then when we get a chance to tackle him and get him down, we got to finish those plays. And this has been such an active first 3 games for San Jose State's defense. It seems like every game has a separate challenge to it, and they're all different from one another. But this is another one, and the Spartans already have been so taxed on defense, it seems like. No, they have, and and I think part of that is a byproduct of kind of our ineffectiveness offensively at times, and so obviously, to me, I put a big onus of that on me and our offense to get going so that we can kind of sustain some drives and kind of get that defense off the field or keep them off the field for a little bit, and we got to be better at that than we've been. If we want to be able to play with that kind of red line effort on defense. Well, I would imagine that's a constant level of evaluation of how you keep improving so that you can give a couple breathers to the defense. So what do you want to see more out of the Spartans offensively? I think just a little bit more consistency. I think those penalties, those false start penalties, it just, we shouldn't be getting those from veteran players. And so, that's a challenge for me and our coaching staff to hone that in and clean that up, because it's stalled out drives or it puts you behind the sticks really big, and first and 10, now you're first and 15, and now you're trying to call plays to get a chunk of it and put yourself in a chance where you can play for third down. And so trying to clean that up, and then also I think we need to be more effective running the football on first down. So that's a challenge for us. It's something we gotta get ready for. And this week it's a unique challenge because of who we're playing against and how talented Utah is up front. Right, and you talk about up front, this is a team that had the nickname Sack Lake City for a good while. They said in the offseason we're not going to go after as many this year, but it seems as though they're just as powerful as ever. Yeah, no, they have an incredible front, and they just do such a good job. Those guys are well coached. Technically, they're really sound. And then the scheme, Coach Whittingham and his staff do a great job. Finding ways to pick protections and get somebody free to the quarterback. All right, that's San Jose State head coach Brennan this Saturday on the road at Utah. Thanks, Coach. Thank you. Take another break here on Spartan Sports Report. More to come after this.
Honoring all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. Every division, every sport. The Learfield Directors Cup. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook, find us online and on Twitter. The Learfield Directors Cup.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report. That does it for this week's episode. Once again, San Jose State remains on the road. They'll play the Utes this weekend on Saturday. Kickoff from Salt Lake City is at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Pacific Time. Our coverage on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network starts at 6:30 Pacific Time. The game will also be televised on ESPN2. That does it for us this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.